Welcome to Gadget Inspectors Express, where we're testing out the new Gocycle, a bicycle which is electric. That's right, it's got a special red button, which means if you're feeling a little tired going up a steep hill, you don't need to pedal at all. It's only got 3 gears, but with the red button, you can have a fine ride with very little exercise. Look, no hands! The Gocycle has lots of advantages for busy city commuters. Crucially, the chain is hidden behind this casing, so your trousers aren't going to get caught up in the mechanisms. Secondly, this is technically foldable. Thirdly, it's really not too heavy. It's certainly heavier than a standard bike, but it's pretty easy to take up and down the stairs. And then the most important feature is the fact that it's electric. Now, you can't push the red button from a standing start, but once you do push it, it gives you a fair bit of zip. Charging on the bike is really very simple. A matter of putting the jack into this socket and plugging it into the mains. The one downside is you will have to charge it up pretty much every evening, because this bike only has 20 miles worth of power, and that's if you do a lot of pedaling. If you do no pedaling at all and are very lazy, it'll only take you a few miles with the red button. Most gimmicky bikes like this I find incredibly uncomfortable, but this is a surprisingly smooth ride, even on these rough London cobbles. The seat's comfy, and even though you've got small wheels, it's a really smooth ride. I think this is a great little bike, and I can see it taking off in London, which, let's face it, is pretty hilly. So if you live in Hampstead or down in Blackheath, this is the bike for you. Admittedly, it's very expensive. At £1,100, this is not for the casual cycle rider. This is for the person who commutes to work every day. But for them, it's comfortable, it's fast, and it is so easy to use. That little magic red button just gives you that extra zip that you need to get up those hills. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. And luckily the brakes are good.
We're a competitive bunch here at Stuff, so this week we're having a race. Ready, set.
We think cars are so 20th century, so with that in mind, we've decided to take some much wackier types of transport for a test drive. Paddy over here has got the Gocycle, Jules has got the Cool X board, and I've got the Venom quad. We'll be putting each through 3 challenges, starting with the cone test. So guys, are you ready? Let's go.
Right, I am going first in the cones round and I think I'm going to win it. The Cool X board is the most manoeuvrable of all 3 and that big motor on the back is going to power me to victory. So it's time to fire it up.
Now the motor in question is a 33cc 2-stroke petrol engine that will propel you up to around 15 miles per hour, though I'm pretty sure I didn't ever get it going that fast. Its big knobby tyres make it suitable for off-road as well as on, and it's operated by the control bar with 1 lever for the throttle and 1 lever for the brake. The Cool X board made quick work of the cones thanks to its tight turning circle, although I have a feeling that with a bit more practice I could have done it even faster.
The electrically boosted Gocycle's top speed of 15 miles per hour may not sound like much, but I struggle to make it through the cones without backing off the power button. And the makers tell us you'll be able to download a special hack to make it go faster.
I struggled with the cones on the quad as I hadn't got used to changing the gears and found it quite hard to multitask, so I was slower as a consequence, but this was early on.
Now it's time for the uphill challenge, and I'm going to win this on the Gocycle because I've got 3 gears, 2 legs and 1 red button here that gives me an electric boost. Plus, I'm going to take a run up. If Wally needed something to commute on, he'd probably use the Gocycle. Everything is futuristic. The lightweight magnesium frame, the disc brakes, the maintenance-free drive system with 3-speed gearbox, and of course, the 250-watt hub-mounted motor on the front wheel that does all the work when your legs get tired. The Gocycle felt solid and smooth to pedal, and while the power boost isn't exactly warp speed, it certainly takes the sting out of slogging uphill the old-fashioned way.
So, how would the Cool X board fare in the hill test? Well, in a straight line, its soft springs make it very twitchy as you build up speed. Added to that, the brakes weren't particularly effective, but perhaps just needed a bit more adjustment. Out of the 3, it certainly felt the least stable and needed a bit of mechanical know-how to get it working properly. When I first tried it, the chain kept coming off. But despite these things, it managed to propel me to the top of the hill in a respectable time.
As I've got the most powerful machine, I was limited to 5,000 revs in first gear for my hill test, which was pretty frustrating as it felt like I was crawling, but this was still good enough to produce the fastest time.
So now it's time for the 3rd and final challenge, the straight line race. Now we appreciate that pitting them all against each other is a losing battle for everyone involved except me. This is a 250cc machine that can go up to 60 miles an hour. So to give the other 2 a bit of a fighting chance, we're going to make the race staggered. But I'm still going to win. Oh yeah.
At the back of the grid, I've got a great view of the race. By this point, I'd mastered the quad's 5 gears, and its awesome power and wide racing tyres made me feel pretty safe and sturdy. Now, I didn't have the fastest start time, although that could be down to my driving skills rather than the actual quad, but once it gets going, this thing is really, really fast. It's also the best looking out of the bunch. Just take a look at those 40-inch alloys. And best of all, it can be driven on a standard car licence.
Well, there was certainly some big talk at the beginning there, wasn't there? But in the end, none of us won our chosen event.
But we still managed to win 1 each, so each mode of transport proved special in their own little way.
That's right. The Cool X board, I think, is best for the fearless thrill seekers out there who want to go off-road.
And the Venom quad is just awesome by default. It's got a brilliant name, it's fast, it's road legal, and it's super sexy.
And the Gocycle is the perfect commuting weapon, especially if you're a little bit lazy.
So there you have it, 3 alternative methods of transport. I bet your car's starting to look pretty boring now, isn't it?